Inside, he's brilliant. Sit, he sits. Down, down, stay, stays until you release him. Friends come over and say, wow, your dog is so well trained, you take him outside. You say, come. He glances at you, registers the word, and goes back to investigating a patch of grass 6 meters away with the focused intensity of a detective at a crime scene. You say it again, and again, and again in the voice that sounds more frustrated than you'd like. Nothing. You've done the training. You've done the repetitions. You've done the treats and the sessions and the YouTube videos. And standing on a pavement with a dog who is suddenly acting like he's never heard your voice before, it is hard not to feel like something is fundamentally broken, either in the training or in the dog. Here is the truth that changes everything. Neither is broken. The training worked perfectly. The problem is where you practiced it. And the reason your dog ignores you outside isn't disobedience, it isn't stubbornness, and it isn't selective hearing. It's a science problem with a very specific solution. And that's exactly what this video is about. If your dog knows commands, if they respond to them reliably at home, why does the same dog, hearing the same word from the same person, appear to hear absolutely nothing when there's a squirrel 40 meters away? The honest answer is going to feel obvious once you hear it. And then you are going to feel mildly irritated because nobody ever just said this clearly. Your dog didn't learn sit. Your dog learned sit in the kitchen. Those are two different behaviors, and only one of them was trained. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why outdoor generalization fails, what your dog's brain is actually processing when competing stimuli appear, and most importantly, a 3-level protocol for building the kind of outdoor responsiveness that holds up in the real world. Not in theory, in practice, on a walk in a park, at a barbecue near other dogs. The kind of reliability that makes you feel like your dog actually knows you exist when the environment is interesting. That's what we are building today. Let us talk about what's really going on when your dog ignores you outside, because understanding the mechanism is what makes the solution feel logical rather than arbitrary. Dogs learn behaviors in context, not in the abstract. When you train sit at home, your dog isn't learning a universal concept called sitting. They are learning that in this specific setting, with this specific combination of stimuli, performing this specific action produces a reward. This is called stimulus control, and it is a feature of learning, not a flaw. The brain files behaviors under the conditions they were trained in. When conditions change significantly, the retrieval cue is different, and the behavior becomes harder to access. Here is what your dog is processing when you call them back from a smell that's been deposited by 17 different animals over the past 4 days. What they hear at home. Come equals high-value cue in a low-competition environment. Kitchen has no competing stimuli. Reward from you is the most interesting thing available. Behavior retrieval, easy. What they hear outside. Come equals low-value cue in an extremely high-competition environment. The smells, sights, and sounds of the outdoor world are novel, biologically relevant, and intensely rewarding. Your treat is competing with everything nature has to offer. Your dog isn't ignoring you. Your dog is accurately responding to a cost-benefit calculation. The reward for coming back to you, a treat they've had 100 times, is not currently outcompeting the experience they are having. You haven't been outrun by a bad dog. You've been outbid by a more interesting environment. The solution isn't to get more frustrated. It's to understand how the bidding works and change what you are offering. Key concept, competing reinforcement. Every behavior your dog performs has a reinforcement history. The outdoor environment has been reinforcing sniffing, roaming, and self-directed exploration for your dog's entire life, often at higher intensity than any training session. You're not failing to be heard. You're failing to outcompete an environment that has been training your dog longer than you have. The 3-level distraction protocol, building up, not jumping in. The most common mistake in distraction training is starting where you want to end up. You want the dog to come back from a squirrel, so you practice near squirrels. And when it fails, You repeat it harder in the same high-distraction environment, progressively more frustrated. That approach has never worked reliably. Here's what does. Systematic exposure, moving through 3 levels of difficulty only when the previous level is solid. Level 1, new environment, no distractions. Before you add distractions, you need to prove the behavior works in a new location with no competing stimuli. Take your dog to an empty car park at 7 a.m., a quiet side street, a field before any other dogs arrive. Practice the same commands they know at home, not to test them, but to build the association that your cues are valid in multiple environments. Most dogs need 5 to 10 successful sessions in a variety of low-distraction outdoor settings before their behavior becomes properly generalized. Most owners skip this step entirely. Drill 5-8 repetitions of sit down and stay in 3 new empty locations across 1 week. Reward rate should be 100%. Every correct response earns a treat. No proofing yet, just location variety. Level 2, managed distractions at distance. Now you add distractions, but at a distance where your dog can notice them without fixating. You're looking for mild alertness, not full engagement. If your dog is staring hard at the distraction, you are too close. Back up until you are at the distance where they notice and look back at you. At that moment of looking back, before they've escalated into fixation, mark and reward immediately. You're reinforcing orientation toward you in the presence of a distraction, not recall yet. This is where most people spend too little time. The orientation reflex is the foundation of reliable outdoor recall. Without it, recall training is built on sand. Drill, find a park bench near a path. Sit quietly with your dog on leash. Every time another dog or person appears at 20+ meters, and your dog glances at them and looks back at you, mark instantly and reward. Build 10 successful check-ins before moving closer. Level 3, active competition recall. Only when level 2 is reliable, when the check-in happens automatically. Do you start asking for active recall in the presence of distractions? And even then, never begin at maximum distraction. Build gradually. Start with mild distractions at distance, then moderate, then the squirrel situation. The recall cue at this level needs to be conditioned to be your dog's highest value trigger, more exciting than the environment. That means using a dedicated recall word, pairing it exclusively with jackpot rewards, 5 to 10 treats delivered in rapid sequence or a play session, and never using it in situations where you know they'll fail. Every failed recall weakens the cue. Protect the recall word the way you protect a good reputation. Drill. On a long line, 5-7M, let your dog explore. Before they hit the end of the line, before tension, call your recall word once. If they return, jackpot them enthusiastically. If they do not, gently guide them back with the line, no scolding, and reduce the distraction level at your next session. Recall is the most important behavior your dog will ever have. It's also the most commonly destroyed one. Here's what destroys it: calling your dog when you know they will not come. Every repetition of your recall word that goes unanswered dilutes the cue. After enough failed recalls, the word means nothing. Or worse, it means, something is ending and I should stay away. The single most important rule of recall training: never say it if you are not going to make it worth there. While, if your dog is deep in distraction and you are not confident they'll return, do not use the recall word. Go get them physically. Use the long line to guide them back. Save the recall word for moments when you are fairly confident it will work, and make those moments extraordinary every single time. The recall word is a promise. Every time you use it and do not deliver, you are making the promise cheaper. Every time you use it and deliver something genuinely excellent, you are making it more valuable. Your dog's responsiveness is a direct reflection of your consistency on this one rule. Secondary tip: never call your dog for something they find aversive, a bath, a nail clip, the end of the park visit. If come consistently leads to bad news, they will accurately learn to avoid it. Go get them for unpleasant things. Reserve the recall for things you can reward. when the environment was the problem, not the dog. Maya had been training her dog for 8 months before she reached out to me. 8 months of consistent work, daily sessions, obedience classes on weekends, a real commitment to doing it right. Inside, her dog was a different animal than the one she'd adopted. Calm, responsive, focused. She'd done that. She was proud of it. Outside, it fell apart. Not every time, but enough, often enough, that every walk carried low-grade anxiety. The recall in particular had become what she called the word that used to work. She'd used it so many times without result that she'd started to distrust it before she even said it. And her dog, picking up on that hesitation in her voice, had learned to hesitate too. We spent 2 weeks on nothing but level 1 and level 2 work. No recall, no high distraction situations, just empty car parks and quiet mornings and reinforcing every check-in she could catch. On week 3, in a park that had previously been unmanageable, Maya used her recall word once. Her dog turned immediately, ran back to her at full speed, and she delivered the best treat she had. She texted me afterward. "I've had him for almost 2 years. That's the first time I've ever felt like we were actually working together outside." The dog hadn't changed. The training environment had, and that was the entire difference. She'd been trying to pass an exam in a room she'd never studied in. We just changed the room. The tension this video started with: your dog is perfect indoors and ignores you outside. Why? Here is the complete answer. Your dog learned everything they know in a controlled, low-competition environment. And that's exactly where it works. The outdoor world is a different training context, with different competing reinforcers that your dog's behavior was never systematically introduced to. You didn't fail to train your dog. You trained your dog in one room of the house and were surprised when the behavior didn't follow them into a different building. The fix is not frustration, repetition, or louder recall cues. It's progression. New environments first with no distractions, then managed distractions at a distance, then active recall under real-world conditions. Each level only when the previous one is genuinely solid. And the recall word? Protect it. Make it worth something extraordinary every single time it is honored. Never let it go unanswered without consequence to the cue's value. Maya's dog hadn't gotten worse over 8 months. She'd just been practicing failure instead of success, in the wrong sequence. 3 weeks of the right sequence changed everything. That's available to you too, starting on your next walk with an empty car park and 5 minutes. One question before you go, and this is genuine. Where does your dog's outdoor recall currently break down? Is it at the first distraction? Is it a specific trigger, other dogs, squirrels, smells? Is it distance, or is the word just genuinely burned out? The next video in this series gets into advanced distraction proofing, specifically what to do when level 2 is solid, but level 3 still collapses under real-world pressure. It covers the long line protocol in detail, how to rebuild a destroyed recall word, and when it is worth starting fresh with a new cue. That video is linked right here. If today shifted something, if you are going to do one empty car park session tomorrow morning, subscribing means you'll see everything that builds on this. And if you know someone stuck in the same cycle, this is the most useful thing you can share with them today. See you in the next one. Scan the QR code or tap subscribe now. New videos every week. Real training, real results, backed by science that actually works.